News Talk 790 KFYO 738. Tom and Laura, we got a call from Senator Charles Perry. Welcome to the program. Thank you very much for joining us. I know you are in a whirlwind of a week.
Yeah, it's a pretty busy week.
All right, notice you sound like you're kind of fighting off the Ganga-Ranga. A lot of that going on, huh?
A lot of that and crud, and then down there, cedars beginning to break, and that's about as bad as it gets.
We were just down there last weekend, and I actually saw one patch of bluebonnets.
Mm-hmm.
One little patch. I thought we were too early, but I did get to see some.
No, it's nice weather down there. It's just the cedar's pretty hard on us guys.
Yeah.
It's allergic to cedar.
Hey, Charles, a lot of things are in the news, and, there's a lot of speculation, a lot of write-ups and things like that. One of the hot buttons that's out there right now is campus carry, and, people are kind of going back and forth and, speculating on what's going to happen. I'm kind of thinking, I get the feeling from all the information and the vibe that I get that it's probably going to happen, and open carry is probably going to happen. It's just a matter of maybe concessions and some possible amendments. Is that true or false?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I believe you'll see some version of both. We passed out campus carry yesterday. It'll move to the House, and over in the House there's probably some work to be done over there on it. And so what it ultimately does or looks like is still very much in play from the House side. The open carry with license, concealed handgun license, is pretty much unanimous on both sides of the chambers. I think that there's good support to have that go into initiative. So I think both of those will.
Well, this is just me, and maybe I'm thick-headed with a mind like a steel trap. But if you have a CHL and you're in, carrying a concealed handgun, if you're an opponent of that, don't you think you would want to know if somebody is carrying?
Yeah, I think all those arguments were heard. I personally think concealed handgun works really well because of the concealed nature. The open carry aspect of it, the way I look at it, if you were responsible enough to get licensed and go through the proper training to carry one concealed, then if it's your choice, should be your choice to openly display that weapon. I think there will be some unintended consequences from private property owners and general public that will create an unintended consequence in the way of 30-06 signs, creating gun-free zones that I've tried to explain to those that are advocating for it. Be careful what you ask for. But that said, I think that there's so many different arguments on both sides of the equation. Some would argue that the fact that you can see it is a deterrent, even more so than CHL. But there's legitimate arguments on the other side that changes the debate from defense to offense. So, but nevertheless, we have a bill moving through both chambers here now that open carry with a concealed license permit is probably the end result of that.
I think really probably one of the more heated issues relative firearms and carry would be the campus carry, because a lot of people kind of feel like, hey, really you don't need to have these on college campuses.
Yeah, I think you'll have more contentious and more changes. I think the open carry will probably have minimum adjustments to it. I can see campus carry coming out of the House with multiple changes to it. So it'll be interesting to see where that debate goes. Tech was obviously most, I think, universities would say that's not what they would like to see happen. There was actually John Sharp said that he felt like that if people were responsible for getting their license, that he was okay with that. So we had mixed messages there. But there are some legitimate concerns. There are some federal contracts on these research campuses that specifically prohibit the carrying of firearms in those areas. So we do have some work, I guess, on language on how we accommodate those unique situations, and Tech does have some of those federal contracts, and we've got to work through language that would not nullify their opportunity to have those research dollars.
Right. I know that in the last year or so, there have been some area universities and college campuses that have had incidents where a lot of people are saying, well, your campus cops don't carry.
Right.
And, that to me is, I don't know. If I was working as somebody in a campus police force, I would be uncomfortable.
Right.
In this day and age, not having a firearm.
And it's important to remember that private universities, because they are private by nature, get to choose whether they are included or excluded.
Right.
I believe some of them in the local area here have actually began their own security and stepped up the level there, and they feel that's adequate. I personally believe that if you're responsible and have been through the training, and my son's a good example. He's 25 years old, graduating with his master's in tech this year. He would be one of those people that if a bad person came to do harm to a particular area with a weapon and he was able to carry and defend himself, it would be a short-lived process. I don't want to ever wake up to know that I could have done something in that regard. All the arguments that it brings in, opportunity for kids to do bad things to themselves in the way of suicide and some other stuff, those arguments are still valid with or without.
Right.
Campus carry. So it's one of those deals that reflects the times we're in as a country, as a society, and I wish we weren't having these debates. I think this was a foreign concept, 30 years ago, but it's the times we live in now.
Right. Hey, Charles, you got a couple of minutes to hang with us?
Yes,
got a couple more questions for you. Charles Perry, 744 on News Talk 790 KFYO. Good morning. Right now, 748, Lubbock's First News. Collins and Mack. Charles Perry with us, Texas State Senator. Thanks for being with us this morning and taking time out, man.
Sure.
Hey, all right. There was a write-up, an article the other day, and you were unable to join us because you were in a water meeting.
Yep.
One of the things that is facing...
Is that code for being at the pool?
Yeah, I wish, man.
Right.
I hope we have water to have a pool.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, there was a write-up about this, Bill 776, which has to do with, an exemption for the city of Lubbock that's going to make it a little bit easier for us to deal with the power generation issues for 19.
Right.
Give us the nuts and bolts of that deal real quick.
Well, there was a bill filed by another senator that well-intended it included Lubbock, and it was going to have adverse effects to it. And effectively, it was trying to push back some of the local municipalities on some eminent domain issues. We've had a recurring theme throughout this session, lots and lots of municipalities kind of overreaching into private property rights area. So this was an idea to curtail that, and effectively what it would have done is made Lubbock, in their ongoing process of the outer loop and bringing power in and doing some other things that they are already in process done. The drawings have been done and money's been spent. It would have put them to a different standard and cost millions and millions of dollars by slowing up the process, requiring additional approval on something that's already been going on. So basically the author of the bill is Frazier, a guy named Senator Frazier, was very gracious, and he said that it made all the sense in the world to exclude Lubbock from that particular statute that was going in and effectively let Lubbock continue on the road that it is, which is, was the right thing to do. We were fortunate enough to catch it, and I got to give kudos to the mayor and his team, the lobby team and stuff that, brought that awareness. We get 7,000 bills or 6,300 bills, I think, and it's hard to keep up with the nuances of every one of them, but they were quick, and we caught it on the day of committee, and the amendment came out through the committee process, so it's a clean bill, and it really worked the way it was designed to do.
Nice. Okay, Charles, you were in a water meeting yesterday when you courteously declined my invitation to come on the show, and I get that, and I appreciate you being here today. But what were you talking about in your water meeting, and anything new that we can look forward to?
Well, we've got some big interim projects. We are at a road where we don't have some rules in place that determine how you get paid if water's moved off your property. What does our water future needs look like with respect to use of brackish water and the private property and nuances in that? So we're beginning to have that discussion. I think we're going to have some good interim talk on how a property owner is compensated for groundwater under his water when there's a taking, how we go about the science of that and calculating what that might look like, and then how are we going to move brackish water once those compensation issues are worked out. But senior property rights, or water rights, and junior property rights on surface water. It's a very complicated. I tell people there's a library full of oil and gas law, which is kind of the backbone of some of the water law, and there's probably 2 books. And unfortunately, we're seeing the results of taking of water from property owners without any due consideration for that taking. It's a really strange area of the law because it's very much developing as we speak. So we're having those discussions. We're going to come up with some good solutions, good ideas on there, and some artery systems, how we move water from one area to the next that have no options. So Texas has enough water resource and financial resources to fix water needs.
Yeah.
It's just putting it on paper.
Yeah. Well, hey, Charles, thanks for being with us this morning. I appreciate that. Charles
Hope you
Perry.
feel better soon.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I feel a lot better today. It's been a tough 2 weeks, honestly, but feeling almost back in humanity today. So.
Good.
You need to go over. You need to go over to Teaster's Tea Company when you get back at 4601 South Loop. They've got this stuff over there. My mom drinks. It's called Cold Be Gone.
I may try.
It's a wellness tea. Let me tell you something. The stuff works, man.
Whiskey, honey, and lemon also works.
Yeah, that's the only way that a Baptist deacon can drink whiskey.
That's right.
Toddies there. So
All right, Charles.
I appreciate you guys.
Thank you, man. Have a great day.